we are talking about Protozoa. Okay, Protozoa. I hope you remember we already discussed this part. Protista, basically, these are the unicellular eukaryotes. These are showing connection link with the fungi, plant, as well as the animalia, right? So I hope you remember under the what we say under the acellular structure we discussed. They can form, they can show this sporulation. They release this spores, which is a characteristic features of fungus. In some protista, cell wall is absent, which is a characteristic feature like animals, as well as the contractile vacuoles present in these resemblance to animals. And sometimes we discuss that is cell wall, these are the made up of the material and they are capable for the photosynthesis. So definitely they resemble to plants also. So under the protista, we are talking about protozoa, and under the protozoa, very much clear if we are talking about the mode of nutrition, definitely all the protozoa, these are heterotrophic mode of nutrition. They have heterotrophic mode of nutrition. It means that they depend on other organelles. Okay, can you see the screen? Screen is loaded properly, or quickly tell me. Screen is loaded properly. Okay, Smita. Yeah. So heterotrophic nutrition, right? Under the heterotrophic nutrition, first category we are talking about number one, and in this amoeba, first of all, we are talking about the presence of amoeboid protozoa. 8 minutes. Amoeba, and we are talking about under the amoeboid protozoa, simple example you have to remember, that is amoeba. That's it. Okay. In case of this amoeba, suppose we are talking about where this such type of this amoeba is present. So in case of this habitat, very simple. They are present in freshwater. Freshwater simply we represent as FW, as well as these are the present in marine water. Marine water simply we represent as a MW, and few these are the also present in moist soil. These are also present in soil, and more specifically we are talking about that is moist soil. So these are the three habitats: fresh water, marine water, and the moist soil. Okay, FW, MW. New students, if anyone, FW stands for the fresh water, MW stands for the marine water, and finally we are talking about that is moist soil. Now, another condition whenever we are talking about, there is a presence of the few amoeba which is present in marine water. More specifically, we are talking about the amoeba which is present in marine water. They had silica shell. So that specific type of this amoeba, they formed silica shell. I hope you remember in case of this diatoms also we discussed. Diatoms, they form this cell wall, these are the made up of the silica. That's why it's also called as the diatomite or diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth. That the body, it is quite hard, gritty, and that's why it is used for the filtration and the polishing purpose. In same type of the scenario also present in case of this amoeba. In case of this amoeba, whenever we are talking about marine water, so the marine water amoeba, the shell wall is the silica. Now, next point we are talking about, that is few amoeba, these are the parasitic. Few amoeba, these are the parasitic. So simply we are talking about parasitic amoeba. An example for this parasitic amoeba, that is ant amoeba. Ant amoeba example, and this ant amoeba responsible for dysentery. It causes dysentery. and the another simple pattern. So you know very well, amoeba, these are the showing pseudopodial false movements, false feet. So such type of this movement, simply these are called as the pseudopodial movement. Movement. Movement is pseudopodial movement. That's with respect to first, that is amoeboid protozoa. For clear, should I continue? Okay, chalo. After the first point, amoeboid protozoa, we are talking about number second, flagellated protozoa. Number second, flagellated. Name itself represents flagellated means that protozoa, these are the motile because it has locomotory organ, that is flagella. Flagellated. So in case of this flagellated, we are taking simple condition. First of all, we are talking about that is habitat. बाद में हम example देखते हैं. First of all, we are talking about that is habitat. In case of this habitat, very simple. We are talking about these are the parasitic as well as the free living. So whenever we are talking about such type of this flagellated protozoa, it has the two types of habitat. Number one might be possible, these are the free living, and the another one, they act as a parasitic. They require the host body, right? Definitely, we are talking about flagella. It means that typical protozoa, it has the flagella. So in their body, flagella present. For the present, I'm giving the simple plus sign. Okay, flagella present. Now, one question, meet favorite part. These flagellated protozoa, example for a flagellated protozoa, we are talking about that is trypanosoma. So first of all, we are taking one example. That example that is trypanosoma. This trypanosoma responsible for sleeping sickness disease in African rural area. It causes parasitic. Definitely, we are talking about these are the parasitic. Flagellated protozoa parasitic, and now they cause sleeping sickness. Cause sleeping sickness disease. One question. Okay. Sleeping sickness means what? Person feel like a sleepy, like that. That is simply we are taking the one example of the flagellated protozoa, that is trypanosoma. But now how that trypanosoma is get infected to human? Simple hai. Basically what happened, trypanosoma it is not directly attacked on the human. For the transmission of some this parasitic means there is a transmission of some spores, like you know that is some mytospores are there, different types of these spores. How they release? With the help of this vector. So these trypanosoma easily transmitted to human via a vector. We are talking about vehicle. We are talking about vector, not physics wala vector. Okay, vector. And name of this vector, that the vehicle who carry that particular disease causing agent that flies. Nothing but we are talking about tus fly. Name of the vector, that is one fly, that is tus fly. So simple, we are talking about who is the vector. Tus flies, these are the vector. Name of the what we say protozoa, flagellated protozoa, example is trypanosoma. क्या disease cause करेगा? It cause the sleeping sickness disease only in African rural area, because you know that in case of this Africa, maximum these are the forest area, evergreen area है, बहुत सारे वहाँ पे tribes हैं, that tribal people they stay in a particular what we say in forest area, So ultimately what happened, there is a chances they infected with the different like malaria भी बहुत common है वहाँ पे, so it's very common. So we are talking about one flagella trypanosoma, flagellated protozoa trypanosoma cause the sleeping sickness disease via tustus fly. Flies, it is act as a vector. That's it. Flagella directly means flagellated protozoa attack on the human via vector. It is attack on human. So part with respect to flight protozoa. This point is clear, everyone? This point is clear? Okay, Komal. Okay, chalo. Now we are talking about third point, ciliated flagella. Remember this point, example which example is flagellated protozoa and which example is ciliated protozoa. So please make sure that point. Huh? So next part we are talking about the ciliated protozoa, and you know very well, whenever we are talking about ciliated, it means that cilia present. Cilia present. Cilia nothing but these are the some outgrowth of plasma membrane, and now that outgrowth basically it is ciliate is responsible for secretion of different molecules like mucus, as well as the ciliate is responsible for the locomotion. Also it is help for the engulfment on the intestine membrane. Also some kind of the ciliated structures are present. So cilia, these are the one kind of the structure, fine structure, hair-like structure, outgrowth of the plasma membrane. But now here we are talking about protozoa, ciliated protozoa. It means on particular protista, cilia present. If you think about habitat, in case of this habitat, mostly these are the present in aquatic condition. Freshwater, marine water doesn't matter, but habitat that is aquatic. Now, in this condition, we are talking about on the ciliated protozoa body, there is a specific type of the cavity is present. So next point we are talking about, there is a presence of this cavity, and that cavity also called as the gullet. So the cavity gullet is present, and with the help of that cavity or gullet, these are the passage or these are the entry site for the food. So simply we can say these are the entry site for food. Entry site for the food. So that simple cavity, these are called as the gullet. Simple example we are talking about, that is paramecium. Simple example is ciliated protozoa, that is paramecium. That's it. So remember name with example. Question अगर बनेगा तो match the column A to match the column B, then that time you will easily understand the point. Ciliated protozoa example is paramecium. And the last point number 4, that is sporozoans. Okay, sporozoans. Sporozoans, nothing but we are talking about infectious spores are present. Protista, particular group of the protista, that is protozoans, they produce these spores. More specific, that is infectious spores. Okay. Now, whenever we are talking about that sporozoans, basically it has the very diverse organism. And in case of the zoology in 12th standard syllabus, you will study the malaria life cycle. So simply we are taking example here, that is plasmodium. Don't get confused between the paramecium and the plasmodium. And now in this condition we are talking about this plasmodium cause a disease, that is malaria. Okay, so life cycle little. So whenever we are talking about plasmodium, remember we discuss about the cellular and the acellular structure, right? Cellular as well as the acellular. So in that there is some plasmodial. But please make sure that point, that plasmodial is not name of any organism. That plasmodial means these are the typical structure which is formed under unfavorable conditions. Plasmodium layer, these are the example of this sporozoa. These are the example of a typical protista. Okay, so please don't get confused between plasmodium structure which is present under the saprophytic protista and the plasmodium structure present in case of the sporozoans. वहां पे जो हमने देखा था, that is a typical structure. Okay, so can you tell me These plasmodium structure, these are the associated with the which part, cellular or acellular? This plasmodium structure, these are associated cellular or acellular? Okay, Komal. Okay. Komal. Anyone please reply me. Sound is clear. Anyone? Now it's clear. Okay. Should I continue? Okay, Pratyusha. Pratyusha Babba, हमने देखा था that is typical structure of that plasmodium structure. These are the come under the acellular. Acellular, when under the unfavorable conditions, form the plasmodial structure, means like fruiting body like structure. And when we talk about the cellular, during the cellular, they form the pseudoplasmodial structure, means aggregation of the different cells because of secretion of the cyclic acid. Got it? So that plasmodium that is related to acellular structure. Okay, कोई बात नहीं. So back to pavilion, we continue. These are the some entire part with respect to sporozoa, and that is come under the category protista, protozoans. Number one, amoeboid. Number second, flagellated. Number third, that is ciliated, and finally, that is spores. Okay, yeah. So next part, back to pavilion. Again, we start with our fungi part because last class we discussed about this primary mycelium, that is called as the monokaryotic phase and the dikaryotic phase. And today we start with the types of, okay, and wall. What kind of this wall is present? And there is a one question from the wall which is based on the Dolin data. So we continue with the fungus part. Okay, so we already discussed about the types of mycelium. Under the types of mycelium, we discussed aseptate, we discussed septate. Under the septate, we discussed monokaryotic mycelium, that is primary mycelium, and then we discussed dikaryotic mycelium, also called as the secondary mycelium. Primary mycelium is represented by no nuclear but percent nuclear with that. Okay, talking about there is types of types of typical type of the septa. Hmm? Types of the septa. Basically, the yeah, I hope now sound is clear. Sound is clear now? Okay. Thank you so much for your patience. Yeah. Can you see the slide? Okay, chalo. So first of all, we are talking about, yeah. So first of all, we are talking about that is first part with respect to types of the septa. Number one, complete septa. Complete septa. Complete septa, it means that simple meaning, typical pore, it is totally absent. For the absent, I'm writing just minus sign, giving the minus sign, okay? Pore absent, totally absent. So complete septa means what? Pores are absent. So how it is look? It is look simple like this. ये कुछ इस तरह से structure होगा like this. So one mycelium, that mycelium, these are attached with each other. So these are the typical structure. These are the some what we say. These are the something thread-like structure. That's thread-like structure. Nothing but these are called as the filament, mycelium filament. Okay. These are the nothing but these are the mycelium filament. And now in this between the two mycelium, pores totally absent. Pores absent. So such type of the structure these are called as the complete septa. यहाँ से question नहीं बनेगा. Number second we are talking about that is simple pore septa. Simple pore septa. So simple pore septa, simply we are talking about, it means that that is pore is present. Pore present. Simple pore septa. So just see how it is look. In case of the simple pore septa, for example, these are the one filament like this. So ये एक filament हो गया. And now there is a presence of the another filament. Between these two filament, there is a presence of the pore like this. There is a presence of this pore, and these pore nothing but these are called as that is simple pore septa. Pores are present. These are simply called as the simple pore septa. And the third point, जहां से question बनेगा, that is dolipore septa. Dolipore septa. Dolipore septa, basically these are the most advanced septa. Most advanced. These are the most advanced septa. And in case of this most advanced septa, we are talking about such type of this, what we say, advanced septa. These are the mostly present under the class Basidomycetes. These are the present under the class Basidomycetes class. After this point, we'll discuss the different class. And Basidomycetes class means simply you can remember the example that is mushroom. Mushroom, these are the come under the Basidomycetes class. So Basidomycetes, these are the most advanced class among the all fungi. And such type of this dolipore septa, which is present in the, we are talking about some exception case. Because bio hai, without exception to hoga nahi. So we are talking about some exception. One example, that is rust fungi and the smooth fungi. One example, that is rust fungi, and the another example, that is smooth fungi. Rust fungi, also called as the Puccinia, or you can say Puccinia, your choice. So Puccinia, or that's also called as the Ustilago. Eustilago. So rust fungi, these are the common name, and the scientific name, biological name, that is Pussinia or Puccinia. Smooth fungi, these are the common name, and the Eustilago, basically these are which name? Scientific name. Now, whenever we are talking about these two examples, that is rust fungi, Puccinia, and the Eustilago, both these are belonging to parasitic parasitic Basidiomycetes fungi. Definitely these are belonging to class Basidiomycetes, but now what happened? These are the not a normal. These are the parasitic. One question. Okay, parasitic. Now another condition we are talking about, both this example, it is belonging to exception case. What is meaning of this exception case? Whenever we are talking about the Basidiomycetes class, all Basidiomycetes class, it has the well developed septa, that is dolichopore septa. But exception case, in case of this Puccinia and the Eustilago, in these two parasitic example, such type of the dolichopore septa, it is totally absent. So you write down here, we are talking about there is an absent of, so dolichopore septa. In these two example, these are the absent. Okay, so if there is a question, so definitely that question coming from the dolichopore septa. So यही से question बनेगा. No question on the complete septa, no question on the simple pore septa, but definitely question on the dolichopore septa. Most advanced है, which is present in case of the Basidiomycetes class. Simple example, remember the mushroom belonging to Basidiomycetes, but under the Basidiomycetes class, two members, rust fungi and the smooth fungi, these are the exception case. They lack the dolichopore septa because both these are parasitic fungi. Got it? So quickly we are taking the diagrammatic representation how that dolichopore septa is look. Advanced है, so something is different. So these are the filament. Another side there is a filament. Modification means dolichopore septa, basically it has the something cap-like structure. And this cap-like structure, these are the covered, these are the protected with the layer. Okay, so this condition we are talking about nothing but these are the something of cap-like structure. So whatever we are draw with the orange color, this nothing but we are talking about cap-like structure. And this cap-like structure, simply these are called as parenthosome. Parenthosome, right? And at the center, whatever we are highlighting here, ये जो part है, this part nothing but simply you can recognize these are the dolichopore septa. Dolichopore septa. Okay, that's it. No question on the diagram. It's for just your understanding purpose कि exactly दिखेगा कैसे. That's it. Clear this point? Is this any doubt from dolichopore septa? Any doubt? Okay, Pratyusha. What about the others? Is this any doubt? Okay, Deepika. Chal, very good. So now next part we are talking about, that is structure of the fungi. So these are the some basic properties, like we discuss habitat, discuss nutrition, body structure. Now we discuss the types of mycelium, and today we discuss the types of the septa. Next part we are talking about cellular structure. Cellular structure of the fungi. Not too much detail because we are talking about cell wall, which kind of the cell wall, and the single Golgi complex is present. That's it. We are talking about the those part. So next part we are talking about cellular structure. Definitely fungus basically is these are the unicellular and maximum all these are the multicellular showing the loose association. Under the cell wall, under the cellular, there is a presence of the typical structure, cell wall, boundary of the cell, and that cell wall basically it is made up of the material that is chitin. And you know chitin these are the also called as the N-acetyl glucosamine or glucosamine. N-acetyl glucosamine, NAG, that is NAG. NAG, simply these are represented as a NAG. So cell wall, these are the made up of the material, chitin, or in other language, simply you can say that is NAG. Now, when we are talking about, in case of this cellular structure, cell wall तो हमने देख लिया, one question from the cell wall. Another question, in case of this fungi, there is a presence of only single Golgi. So suppose ये cell wall है, these are the cell wall, which is made up of the chitin material. Inside the cell wall, there is a presence of the plasma membrane. Definitely nucleus is present, other cell organelle is also present. But now here we are talking about there is a presence of some typical structure like this. Okay, and this green color typical structure, nothing but we can say these are the Golgi. We are not talking Golgi complex. Complex का मतलब क्या होगा? More than one present. But here we are talking about single Golgi. And why we are Golgi? Because this Golgi, it has only one single cistern. It has only one single cistern. Because see, when we draw the typical structure of the Golgi, हम draw कैसे करते हैं? For example, these are the typical structure of the Golgi which is present in case of the eukaryotic system. So these are the cis Golgi, now these are the mid Golgi, and now these are the trans Golgi. What is meaning of the cisterni? Cisterni nothing but these are the flat sac-like structure. What is meaning of the cisterni? Simply it is meaning that is flat sac-like structure. Sac-like structure, okay. But now if you see the Golgi which is present in case of this yeast body, only single Golgi is present, sac-like structure is present, and that's why simply when we can say these are the unicisterni or single cisterni structure is present. That's why we are specifically using the word only Golgi, not Golgi complex. अगर ऐसा structure हुआ, this one, that Golgi complex, it is consist of the cis Golgi, mid Golgi, as well as the trans Golgi. So that entire structure, these are called as the Golgi complex or Golgi bodies or Golgi apparatus. But यहाँ पे single है, that's why we are using only word that is Golgi. Got it? Yeah. So this point is clear. What is the exactly difference with respect to Golgi in case of other eukaryotic cell and in case of this yeast cell? Only Golgi we are talking about. Golgi it is made up of the only single cisterni. Cisterni that is flat sac-like structure. Yeah. Done. Manjita. Okay, Shivangi. Chalo. So next part, under the cellular structure, we are talking about that is reserved food material, storage. Reserved food. So simple है. Reserved food basically these are the presence of the glycogen and plus oil. Glycogen as well as the oil. So these are the material which is material in case of fungi body. Okay. Now next part we are talking about that is different class of the fungi, and in our syllabus we have to discuss total 5 classes and simply we are taking in table form. Start from the new page and if you possible don't write down in vertical manner जैसा आप लिखते हो ना normally notebook में. Don't prepare chart like that because we have to draw total 5 charts from their types of septa, mycelium, sexual reproduction, spore, everything will mention in chart. So if you possible rotate your notebook in horizontal manner, उसमें 5 section करो and just draw the table. It's better. Okay, मतलब ज़्यादा complicated नहीं होगा. So start from the new page. Instead of writing vertical, write down in horizontal position. समझ में आ गया ना हम क्या कह रहे हैं? Horizontal मतलब क्या? जैसे नॉर्मल लिखते हैं वैसे मत लिखो. Just rotate your notebook and create a 5 columns. Okay, chalo. So next part we are talking about detailed information about the 5 classes of the fungi, one by one. Okay, chalo. So in this condition, first of all we are talking about two major classes. Just see what I'm doing, then you start. Huh? So we are talking about that is kingdom fungi. Kingdom fungi. Below the kingdom fungi, we are talking about that is division, because according to 7 obligate category, that is K, D, C, KDC of GS. I hope you remember this point. K for the kingdom, D for the division, C for the class, O for the order, family, genus, and the species, right? So first of all, we write down here that is kingdom. Below the kingdom, in second category, we are talking about division. So first part, division, Mycota, and the another part with respect to division, that is Mycota. U and the U. When we are using the U, it means that we are talking about a primitive fungi. U means primitive fungi. And when we are using the U, it means that we are talking about advanced fungi. Okay. So first part kingdom. After the kingdom, we talk about there is two division, Myota, and the another one that is Myota, and the another one that is U. Next point, under the division, we are talking about that is class. This Myota, these are the divided into two major classes. So first of all, we are talking about that is Oomycetes class. Oomycetes class, and the number second that is Zygomycetes class. See, mycetes, and what is the suffix for the class? We use mycetes suffix for the fungi. Oomycetes and another one that is Zygomycetes. O and zygo sometime these are also called as together. Together, both together called as Phycomycetes. These are also called as the Phycomycetes. So sometimes what happen, ऑप्शन में ओमाइसिटीज या फिर झाइगोमाइसिटीज ऐसे मेंशन नहीं होता. Sometimes they give the word Phycomycetes. And what is meaning of the Phycomycetes? It means that we are talking about primitive fungi. That is Oomycetes, either Oomycetes or Zygomycetes. But if you want to represent commonly Oomycetes class and the Zygomycetes class, simply these are called as the Phycomycetes. Got it? So two types of these Oomycota. Number one that is Oomycetes class, and the another one that is Zygomycetes class, and collectively together these are called as the Phycomycetes. Now another part, advanced fungi. This advanced fungi Oomycota divide into total 3 classes. So we are talking about these are divided into 3 classes, which is the most advanced. First one under the advanced fungi, that is Deuteromycetes, imperfect fungi. Deuteromycetes class. This one, the first one, Deuteromycetes class. Another one, Ascomycetes. Ascomycetes class. These are the second one in advance. And finally, the most advanced mushroom category, that is Basidiomycetes. Basidiomycetes class. Basidiomycetes class. Okay, so quickly check. We are talking about total 3 classes under the advanced fungi. Number 1, Deuteromycetes. Number 2, Ascomycetes. Number 3, Basidiomycetes. So if you see the collectively under in our syllabus, we have to discuss total 5 classes, primitive to advanced. From first one, Oomycetes, Zygomycetes, Deuteromycetes, Ascomycetes, and the Basidiomycetes. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 classes of the fungi. We have to discuss one by one and we have to compare with each other. Don't worry, it's very easy. थोड़े से नाम अलग लगते हैं because definitely these are the kingdom fungi and it has the very quiet name. So just recall your memory. जैसे हम कहते हैं ना कि you see that again and again and ultimately your eyes it is act as your brain. So such kind of this principle apply for the fungi. You can't remember each and everything, but if you read again and again, definitely it is possible. You can easily distinguish the structures, or you can easily distinguish the point which is make difference between these total 5 classes. So always remember, we always start from the Oomycetes, then we go for the Zygomycetes, then Deuteromycetes, then Ascomycetes, and finally Basidiomycetes. Okay, we are going from left to right. I hope you remember left to right. Left का मतलब क्या होता है? Left man, these are the most primitive. Oomycetes, these are the most primitive. And when you go towards this right, it means that we are talking about most advanced class of the fungi. So पहले ऊ बने, उसके बाद zygomacetes डेवलप हुआ, then Deuteromycetes get developed, then Asco, and finally Basidiomycetes, who has advanced type of the septa, that is dolichopore septa. Got it? So this point is clear, everyone. Basic classification system. Yes or no? Okay, chalo. So next part I continue with the classification system. So divide your page into 5 sections. 1, Oomycetes, 2nd, Zygomycetes, 3rd, Deutero, 4th, Asco, and finally Basidiomycetes. Okay, chalo. So first of all, I draw the chart. One, two, three, 4, and 5. That's it. Okay, so these are the total 5 columns. So one by one, we are representing the name. First column, Oomycetes. Write down yourself from left to right. Always write down most primitive, that is Oomycetes. First class, Oomycetes class. Number 2nd, Zygomycetes, Z. Third one, Deuteromycetes. Deuteromycetes. Last one, Ascomycetes. Ascomycetes. And the last one, most advanced, Basidiomycetes. Basidiomycetes. mycetes. Got it? Okay. So first of all, we are talking about total 5 different classes with respect to all Oomycetes, zygote, Ditero, Usco, and the Basidio. Once we finish this time table, then please quickly tell me. Then we start different types. Means with respect to differentiation. Yeah. Should I continue? Okay. So first of all, we are talking about first point types of mycelium. See, under the Oomycetes, I am just writing the title. एक बार ही लिखेंगे and all information we are writing below. So first of all, first point types of mycelium. Just check your mic. Types of mycelium. Alicia, your mic is on better. Types of mycelium. So simply we are talking about, because see हमने पहले देखा है what is meaning of septate, what is meaning of aseptate, right? What is meaning of the primary mycelium, what is meaning of the secondary mycelium. So I'm not taking that part, I'm just enlisting the name because we already discussed this part. Whenever we are talking about the primitive two, Oomycetes as well as the Zygomycetes, it has the aseptate mycelium. Aseptate, it means that septa is totally absent. यहाँ पे भी aseptate है, and here also there is a presence of this aseptate. That is cenocytic aseptate. Septa is absent, and remaining all three, which is a belonging to advanced group like Deuteromycetes, Ascomycetes, and the Basidiomycetes, it has septate mycelium. So under the Deutero, there is a presence of the septate. Okay. Now under the septate, we are talking about there is a presence of only primary mycelium. क्या present होगा? There is a presence of this only primary mycelium. I hope you remember what is meaning of the primary mycelium. These are the presence of this filament. This filament, it has the wall, that is septa is present, but per cell only singular nuclei is present, which is haploid in nature. Haploid nuclei. So such type of this scenario, these are called as the primary mycelium or simply called as the monokaryotic mycelium. So under the Deuteromycetes, septate present hoga, but there is a presence of only one type of the mycelium, primary mycelium. Now under the Usco, there is a presence of primary as well as the secondary. यहाँ पे भी septate होगा. There is a presence of the septate mycelium, but in this scenario, there is exactly reverse condition with respect to Basidiomycetes. See, under the Basidio also there is a presence of the septate. But we are talking about difference with respect to primary mycelium and the secondary mycelium. So when we are talking about under the Ascomycetes, whatever that primary mycelium is present, that is monokaryotic phase, monokaryotic mycelium, that primary mycelium, these are long-lived. These are long-lived. And when you compare this point with Basidiomycetes, now in this scenario, that primary mycelium exactly reverse hoga. These are the short-lived. Half-life is short. Again, secondary mycelium, just we discussed. Primary mycelium, these are the long. So ultimately, secondary mycelium, it has the short life. Short life. And exactly reverse scenario under the Basidiomycetes, secondary mycelium. This secondary mycelium, basically these are the long lived. Remember this point. अगर simple question बन रहा है तो कैसे बनेगा? Primitive organism, that is Oomycetes, Zygomycetes, it has the aseptate, while Ditero, Usco, Basidio having septate. Is this any hard level question? मान लो कि 4-5 question hard level के, and that question it is coming from the fungus. So might be possible they ask about primary mycelium, these are the long lived, In case of this ascomycetes, suppose primary mycelium, these are the long lived and the secondary are the short. Exactly reverse scenario with respect to basidio. Primary mycelium short lived and the secondary mycelium that is long lived, because we know that इस साल पेपर बहुत easy था. More than two students they secure their rank, first rank and the second rank with same marks 720. But ऐसा नहीं कि हर बार ऐसे repeat होगा. So we have to prepare for the hard level also. Remember this thing. अगर simple question आ रहा है, so simply septate, septate, septate. That's it. Under the advanced group. But is this any hard level question? That time might be possible. They ask about primary mycelium, secondary mycelium. These are the short lived or the long lived in case of asco and the basidio. Got it? This point is clear. Hard level की बात कर रहे हैं हम. Okay? Okay, चलो. So these are the first point with respect to types of mycelium. First two primitive, aseptate, and the remaining three, these are the septate. Got it? Yeah. So second point we are talking about, that is types of septa. We discussed the three types of the septa: complete septa, simple septa, and the dolipore septa. So we are continue that part. Should I continue? Okay, chalo. So second point we are talking about, that is types of septa. Yeah. So first point we discussed types of mycelium. Second point we discussed, that is types of septa. Very simple and straightforward question. In case of this primitive two, that is under the oomycetes and under the zygomycetes, septa totally absent. So यहाँ पे भी first category under the oomycetes absent, and under the zygomycetes also these are the totally absent. Septa is totally absent. No septa. But when you discuss about Deuteromycetes as well as the ascomycetes, they has simple pore septa. They has the simple pore. And what is the meaning of the simple pore? Simply single pore is present between the two filament or the two mycelium. Under which group? Under the Deutero and the asco. So just quickly check. First two primitive septa, this is totally absent. But in case of this Deuteromycetes, there is a presence of the simple pore septa present, and we discussed diagrammatically what is meaning of the simple pore. यहाँ पे the same scenario, there is a presence of the simple pore. Simple pore septa is present. Okay, so यहाँ पे same आ रहा है. And just we discuss Basidomycetes, it has the most advanced type of the septa, that is dolipore septa, right? And under the Basidomycetes, just write down, yes, septa is present, but name of the septa, that is dolipore septa. And I hope you remember, we are just taking some exception case where that dolipore septa is absent, that is rust fungi, Puccinia, and smooth fungi, Ustilago. So parasitic fungi hai, they cause a disease, particularly plant, wheat plant, fungal infection cause karte hai. So you have to remember this example. Okay. So first of all, we are talking about the very common, I'm writing just common name. Scientifically, you write down your own. Rust fungi, Puccinia, and the another one, that is smooth fungi, who infect rice, bajra, barley also. That name of this fungi, that is smooth fungi. So that name of the fungi we discuss in 12th standard when we discuss about the food production. वहाँ पे हम discuss करेंगे. Okay. So is there any doubt with respect to septa? Absent, absent, simple, simple, dolipore. That's it. Done? Okay, chalo. Now next, number 3, we are talking about cell wall. Third point with respect to cell wall. So draw one line. We discussed types of mycelium. We discussed the types of the septa. Third point, we are talking about cell wall. Okay. So we are writing third point, cell wall. Third point, cell wall. I hope you remember we just discussed in case of this fungi cell wall, these are the made up of the chitin. Except one case, in case of oomycetes, cell wall, these are the made up of the cellulose. First, under the oomycetes, the typical cell wall, these are the made up of material. That material nothing but that is cellulose, right? And in this point, because of this property, that is cell wall, these are the not made up of the chitin material, cell wall, these are the made up of the cellulose. That's why oomycetes also called as the algal fungi. Oomycetes also called as the algal fungi. Why we are saying the algal fungi? Because it is made up of the cellulose, right? Exception case, because see, जहां से simple होता है वहां से question नहीं बनेगा. Is this any exception case? Definitely question coming from that point. And in the rest of classes, under these zygomycetes, cell wall made up of the chitin, hetero, cell wall made up of the chitin, under asco, chitin, and under basidia also cell wall, these are the made up of the chitin. Got it? So these are the point with respect to cell wall, and here we are talking about oomycetes, also another name. These are also called as the algal fungi. And why we are talking about algal fungi? Because cell wall made up of the cellulose, and rest of all classes whatever the members are present, cell wall, these are the present made up of the material, that is chitin and acetyl glucosamine. Got it? This point is clear? Yeah. So next part we are talking about asexual reproduction. Fourth point. Okay. Chalo. So next part we are talking about, that is presence of the asexual reproduction. Number fifth point. Fifth है ना? The next part, asexual reproduction. Whenever we are talking about the asexual mode of reproduction, it means that we are talking about there is a formation of something spore, right? Spores are present. And now in this scenario, we are talking about spores are motile or these are the non-motile, because definitely question coming from that motility. So first of all, we are talking about under the oomycetes. Under the oomycetes, remember this point, it's very, very, very important point. One question from this point. Oomycetes, these are the one and only class which is belonging to kingdom fungi where motile spores are present. Motile spores are present only under the oomycetes, right? Only under the oomycetes. Rest of all, whatever we are talking about, they has the non-motile spore. Okay, and such type of these motile spores, these are also commonly called as the zoospore. Zoo means what? That is something a motile, something is showing the animal movement, right? Like animal. So that's why here we are talking about one and only class, that is oomycetes. It has the motile spore. Rest of all, they lack the motile spores. Okay, and whenever we are talking about this category, that is zoospore, mostly these are members of aquatic. So mostly these are aquatic member, means their habitat is aquatic. Okay, zoospore. So this point is clear. Under the asexual reproduction, spores are present without meiosis. Haploid spores say that haploid spores, it is undergo the process of the mitosis and they produce the spores. Single parent is involved, but still they produce the spores. But now these spores, these are the motile. That's why we can say these are the zoospore, because it is mostly it is belonging to aquatic member. Next class, under the zygomycetes. Next point, whenever we are talking about under the class that is zygomycetes, under the zygomycetes there is a presence of non-motile spore, and that non-motile spore, simply these are called as sporangiospore. These are called as haploid ploidy level. Pratyusha, these are the haploid. हमने I think हमने last class से discuss किया था फंगस का जितना भी बॉडी होगा, फिलामेंट, सेप्टा, whatever, spores, all these are the haploid because algae and the fungi they are showing haplontic life cycle. Except zygote hoga, zygote is always diploid, right? So in case of algae as well as the fungi, complete except zygote, entire body these are the haploid. So whatever we are talking about, any part with respect to fungi, चाहे वो footing body ले लो, filament ले लो, mycelium ले लो, hyphae ले लो, all these are the haploid structure. Remember, because fungus they has haplontic life cycle. Okay, and only zygote these are the diploid. Because zygote, no exception case, after the fertilization zygote get formed, and zygote it is always and always diploid in nature. hmm? Yeah, so हम बात क्या कर रहे थे, चलो. So in case of this oomycetes we discussed, there is a presence of this specific type of this spore that is called as the zoospore. Similarly, under the zygomycetes there is a specific type of this spores are present, that spores these are called as sporangiospore. Name ही उसका sporangiospores. And what is the property? These sporangiospores basically these are the non-motile. Okay. Now under the deuteromycetes, third class, under the deuteromycetes, now there is a presence of these spores, but now that spores again these are the non-motile, but name conidia. तो क्वेश्चन यहां से बनेगा conidia. Okay, what is the name of this spores? That is conidia. And whenever you are using the conidia, same scenario, conidia these are also non-motile. Okay, now same scenario for the ascomycetes. Under the ascomycetes also conidia present. Spores these are called as the conidia. And whenever you are using the word conidia, it means that they are non-motile. So next part under the ascomycetes. Again, there is a presence of the spore conidia, and these conidia also these are the non-motile. Just one second. Hello, can you hear me? Okay. So we are talking about conidia structure under the ascomycetes. Yeah. So again under the ascomycetes there is a presence of this conidia, and these conidia definitely these are the non-motile. Only and only oomycetes they having the motile asexual spore. Motile asexual, okay, not sexual. I'm talking about asexual, right? Because sexual के अलग नाम होंगे, and the activity also these are the quite different. And finally, there is a one question which is already asked in previous examination with respect to most advanced class of the fungi, that is under the basidiomycetes. Basidiomycetes. On that point, Basidiomycetes, definitely these are the most advanced type, definitely. But under the Basidiomycetes, spore formation, I'm talking about asexual spore, okay? यहाँ पे लिख देते हैं इस तरह से, चलो. So asexual spores formation totally absent. Asexual spore formation totally absent. Okay, totally absent. Please remember this point, totally absent. But how they are showing the asexual mode of reproduction? So one solution under the Basidiomycetes, they are showing asexual mode of reproduction by fragmentation. So spores to absent, definitely. But now in this scenario, they are simply showing the division by the fragmentation. And you know very well, fragmentation, these are the come under the vegetative reproduction. Okay, but fragmentation is present. Got this point? One question. Asexual spores formation totally absent under the Basidiomycetes, but how they showing division? Simply vegetative reproduction, example fragmentation. Got it? This point is clear, everyone? This point is clear? Okay, very simple. Yeah. Next point, we are talking about sexual mode of reproduction. Next point. Just draw one line. So next part, we are talking about sexual mode of reproduction. So number 6, sexual mode of reproduction. So when we talk about the sexual mode of reproduction, simply we are talking about, first of all, we are talking about under the oomacetes. So okay, so I know these are the table form. So if anyone is get disconnected and again join, तो उसको समझ में नहीं आएगा. So what happened? At the right hand side corner, I just writing the O. O represent, remember, okay? O means we are talking about oomacetes. Huh? O means we are talking about oomacetes. If is this anyone it is get disconnected, तो उसको समझ में आ जाएगा कि whatever we are talking about, because it's quite large chart. It's not possible कि बार बार उसको zoom out और zoom in करो. So it's create some problem during the writing. So simply at the corner I'm writing the O. Remember O. O stand for what? Oomacetes. So under the oomacetes we are talking about in case of this sexual reproduction. This sexual reproduction definitely present. So I'm writing here only one point. Yes, sexual reproduction, these are the present. Under the zygo के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, so I'm writing the Z here. Yes, under the zygo also, these are the present. Now, under the Deuteromycetes, one question. Sexual mode of reproduction, it is totally absent. That's why Deuteromycetes is also called as imperfect fungi. So we are talking about Deuteromycetes, and in this scenario, these are the absent. Question यहाँ से बनेगा. Okay? Under the Deuteromycetes, sexual mode of reproduction is absent, right? And that's why we are writing such point. This Deuteromycetes, also called as okay, these are the also called as imperfect fungi. I hope you remember, so many times this question is asked in previous examination. Imperfect fungi, imperfecti fungi. Sometimes these are also called as the dustbin fungi. Dustbin. And sometimes these are also called as the artificial class of fungi. Artificial class of fungi. Okay, so I'm highlighting such point. We are talking about Deuteromycetes, and whenever we are talking about Deuteromycetes, simply we are talking about different name. Number one, that is imperfect fungi. Number second, that is dustbin fungi. Number third, that is artificial class of fungi. ये क्या हुआ? एक मिनट. So In other name, that is artificial class of fungi. Okay, so quickly I'm talking about imperfect fungi to समझ में आता है because sexual mode of reproduction is absent. Why these are called as the dustbin fungi? Listen, definitely whenever we are talking about total 5 classes, Deuteromycetes come exactly at between. Between मतलब क्या है? If you see toward the left hand side, primitive है. If you see toward the right hand side, these are the advanced one. So is this any new fungi is discovered? New fungi, okay, new species, novel species. We don't know what is their habitat, spore present, how they are showing life cycle. We don't know any information because now these are the under the research. So that time what happens? Initially they place under the Deuteromycetes. कोई भी न्यू फंजा है, अगर अंडर इन्वेस्टिगेशन है, अंडर द स्टडी है, अंडर द रिसर्च है, सो इनिशियली उसको उठाओ और कहाँ पे डंप करो? अंडर द Deuteromycetes. That's why these are called as the dustbin fungi. Once that new species, fungi species, it is get identified in all parameters according to taxonomy classification system. So वहां से उठाओ, उसको place करो under the old one, means under the Oomycetes or Zygomycetes according to their properties, or pick up and just dump under the Asco or Basidomycetes. जहाँ पे वो match करता है वहां पे उसको dump कर दो. But is this any new species of the fungi is get discovered and we don't know how they are showing, how their sexual mode of reproduction is present, absent, किस type से करेगा, we don't know any information. That time simply that new fungi placed under the Deuteromycetes class. That's why Deuteromycetes class also called as the dustbin fungi. Okay, and why they say that is imperfect fungi? Because sexual mode of reproduction, it is totally absent. Clear this point? This point is clear. This point is clear. Okay, chalo. And simply we are talking about under the Asco and the Basidio. Asco and the Basidio, yes. In both Asco and the Basidiomycetes, sexual mode of reproduction present. That's it. Done. So these are the some information with respect to sexual mode of reproduction present in all except Deuteromycetes. Clear? Okay, chalo. So next point we are talking about that is next part. After fertilization, what happened? So we are talking about number 7, post-fertilization event. Post-fertilization event. Post-fertilization means what? After fertilization, what is the exactly characteristic feature? See, we are not saying the entire cell life cycle. We are taking only important part which is a unique to that particular class. So that's why I'm writing here that is post-fertilization event. Not events, only single point we are discussing. Chalo. So first point, under the Oomycetes, I'm writing O here first of all. O, zygo, hetero, asco, और यहाँ पे होगा Basidio. Okay, chalo. So back to pavilion, we are talking about first point with respect to Oomycetes. Just we discuss Oomycetes, it has the zoospore, right? Zoospores are present. Those are the motile, which is come under the asexual reproduction category. Now, what happened? Whenever we are talking about the process of this reproduction, right? And under this reproduction process, means fertilization process, that is 2 gametes, 2 spores. For example, AB haploid, these are haploid. One it is recognized as a male, another it is act as a female, and male and female they are showing fusion process called as the fertilization. After the fertilization, there is a formation of the zygote, which is always and always diploid in nature. But under the Oomycetes category, this zygote, it has this some unique name. And what kind of this unique name? This zygote is called as oospore. Zygote, these are called as the oospore, which is diploid in nature. Okay, oospore, remember this point, huh? And when we are talking about oospore, the wall of that oospore, basically these are consist of the thin wall, huh? So under the oomycetes, we are talking about, we are zygote specifically, we are using the word oospore. Please don't get confused between the oosphere and the oospore. oosphere means we are talking about egg, वो एक के बारे में रिप्रेजेंट करता है, राइट? oosphere, haploid in nature. Here we are talking about presence of the oospore, which is a diploid in nature. Okay, oosphere. Oosphere. Oosphere, nothing but these are the egg, which is haploid in nature. Huh? These are the some extra information. If you want, you can write down this in on margin. But here we are talking about presence of the oospore. Clear? Yeah. This point is clear? Remember this point, okay? Zeus, oospore, not oosphere. Sphere also called as the egg. Haploid है. यहाँ पे diploid ploid ही है. Now, in this condition, we are talking about same scenario. Under the zygomycetes, male present gamete, female they fuse with each other, fertilization, and after the fertilization, there is a formation of the zygote, which is diploid in nature. But this zygote, it has some unique name. That zygote is called as the zygospore. See, oo word coming from the oomycetes. Same scenario. Zoo word, zygote is word coming from the zygomycetes. But what is the exactly difference? Now that definitely zygospore diploid in nature, but it has the thick wall around the zygote. So these are the some unique information after the first fertilization event. Zygote in case of oomycetes called as the oospore. Zygote under the zygomycetes called as the zygospore. Oospore has the thin wall. Zygospore, it has the thick wall. That's it. Under the deuteromycetes, just we discussed no sexual mode of reproduction. So there is a no post-fertilization event. So that's why all such information, it is totally absent under the deuteromycetes. That's it. Okay, totally absent. Now, when we are talking about in case of this ascomycete is also called as this sac fungi. So we are talking about under the ascomycetes called as sac fungi. Please highlight this point. अब तक हमने देखा था imperfect fungi. Then we discuss about there is a presence of this there is a presence of this sac fungi. Again, we already discussed about the imperfect fungi. So algal fungi, oomycetes. Then dustbin fungi or the imperfect fungi, deuteromycetes. And now we are talking about sac fungi. Why we are talking about sac fungi? After the fertilization, there is a formation of some sac-like structure. And that sac-like structure, simply these are called as the ascus. Okay. So now after post fertilization, there is a formation of this ascus. Ascus get formed. Ascus formation. And now that ascus formation, this ascus structure, these are the look like a sac-like structure. So that sac-like structure, simply these are called as the ascus. So that's why ascomycete is also called as the sac fungi. Now, same scenario with respect to basidomycetes. Basidomycetes is also called as the club fungi. So these are also called as the club fungi. And why we say club fungi? Because There is one typical structure, very unique structure, which is formed after the fertilization process, that is basidium. There is a presence of this basidium, and basically that structure of this basidium, these are the club shaped structure. Basidium, it has club shaped structure. So we discuss that part later when we draw the life cycle of the mushroom. So ये typical structure है for the basidium. Okay, so we are talking about two important scenario: club fungi because of this basidium, sac fungi because of this ascus. Ascus has the sac-like structure, basidium having the club shape like structure. Okay, so quickly we are enlisting all this information together. We discuss ओमाइसीटी, उसके बाद हमने देखा जाइगो, then we discuss डिटेरो, then we discuss ascope, and finally we discuss basidio mycetes. Different name. Oomycete is also called as the algal fungi because body cell wall, these are the made up of the cellulose. Zygomycetes, these are I forgot one point here. Zygomycetes, these are also called as the conjugation fungi. Please make sure, write down this point. These are also called as the conjugation fungi. Why we are talking about conjugation fungi? Because sexual reproduction, it is happen with the help of conjugation process. Because sexual reproduction similar to conjugation. Because now what happened during the conjugation? There is a formation of the conjugation tube. Same kind of this scenario happening with respect to zygomycetes. Between two mycelium structure, there is a formation of the conjugation tube-like structure. That's why zygomycetes is also called as the conjugation fungi. That next point, that is deuteromycetes. Deuteromycetes is basically a mode of sexual reproduction. It is totally absent. That's why we can say these are the imperfect fungi. Ascomycetes, it has the ascus, that's why it is called as, and that ascus, it has the shape that is sac-like. So these are also called as the sac fungi. And finally, basidiomycetes, these are also called as the club fungi. Okay, so one unique question, match the column A to B. Algal fungi, conjugation fungi, imperfect fungi, sac, and the club fungi. Got it? हाँ प्रत्युषा, both definitely ascomycetes as well as the basidiomycetes, they has the zygote, but उसका कोई unique नाम नहीं है. Simply we can say these are the zygote. Why we discuss about the ooh and the zygote? Because it has some unique name. That's why we're talking about that part. Okay, we are not taking all entire portion. We are talking only some important key points which is happening after fertilization. Okay. Yeah, so this part is done. Okay, chalo. Last point, we are talking about fruiting body. Oomycetes, zygomycetes, deuteromycetes, ascomycetes, and the basidio. Continue your chart, okay? And basidiomycetes. Next point, we are talking about fruiting body. Fruiting body. Initially, inside these three classes, oomycetes, zygomycetes, deuteromycetes, fruiting body totally absent. So just give the cross, absent, absent, absent. Under the ascomycetes, Yes, it is present. Under the Basidiomycetes, yes, it is present. Fruiting body. And the specific name, which is come under the Ascomycete, that is ascocarp, carp, that is fruit. Name of the fruiting body, that is ascocarp, which is present. And in case of Basidiomycetes, yes, there is a presence, and the name, that is Basidiocarp. Basidiocarp. And the beautiful example for the Basidiocarp, that is mushroom. That entire structure of the mushroom, these are example of the Basidiocarp, that is fruiting body. Done. So absent, 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 present, present. Under the Ascomycetes, ascocarp, and under the Basidiomycetes, Basidiocarp. Done.